Welcome to another interview with el Vocero Hispano. Today is May 1st, and that means that it's officially the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. To speak about this, we are very fortunate to have a Filipino realtor, DJ, and the founder of the Grand Rapids Asian and Pacific Festival, Ace. I can't pronounce your last name, I'm so sorry.
It's Marasigan.
Marasigan. Okay, thank you so much for being here with us, and we're super excited to learn more about your culture, the background, and of course the festival that's coming up. So,
Edith, thanks so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be part of this interview and to be able to talk to you today. So I'm very, very excited.
Yes. So, like, the first question I have is why would it be super important to learn about your Heritage Month, or why should we celebrate it?
It's kind of funny, like how us Americans will put in like a month and we'll celebrate and focus on certain demographics, which we should actually be celebrating it all year long, right? But it's a great reminder for us to just kind of say, like, hey, since we're celebrating Asian Pacific Heritage Month this month in May, let's talk about some of the things that Asian Pacific or Asian Americans contribution to this great nation. So I think it's good that we do have some months that we say, like, hey, let's focus on certain demographics, but it's all equally important that we celebrate and just really learn about different culture all year long.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you think other communities should learn about your community?
When you talk about Asian Pacific communities, we're representing so many different countries. And it's not like we all share a common language and common culture. Each countries will have their own separate means to communicate with different cultures. So when you say Asia, I believe it's 48 different countries. But if you add on the Pacific Islands, man, we're representing so much more. When I go to certain festivals, like when there are some commonalities there, but when Asian Pacific comes together, there's like so many different things that represent. Now we got to figure out, like, hey, how do we highlight each culture in the best possible way so we can all learn about something new?
Yeah, and I think that all of us should be a little bit more aware that there are different countries being represented. It kind of makes me remember about our culture, the Hispanic culture, how some people just say, oh, they're Mexican, but I'm not just Mexican. I'm probably Guatemalan or Hondureño or whatever the case may be. So I think it's super important that you mentioned that there are different representations that make all of you guys, one certain culture. So I think that's super important. Your background is Filipino, so how has that been coming here to the United States and representing your home country?
So me being Filipino, I actually immigrated here in 1993. I was 15 to about 16 years old back then. And, just learning something new. It's like when you immerse yourself to something equally, just for me, it was alien because I'm like, what am I doing here? Who are my friends? Or I didn't know anybody at all. Yeah. So when you're first starting out, you just simply don't know anybody. And then, like as soon as you keep adapting to the culture, you learn more. But then you also have this thirst and hunger that you're like, I want to share who I am. Yeah. I just want to equally highlight the person that I am as being Filipino American. So, Edith, can I just share a quick story about the Philippines? I mean, I love how we have, I don't say I love it, but I'm just saying, like, in the Philippines, like in the 1500s, when Magellan came and the Spaniards came, we were colonized for over 333 years. And so when I talk to my Hispanic friends, it's funny to share like certain things that we do. I would notice it with my Hispanic friends that we all share that common things. And the only way we found out is like through talking and really just, having that relationship. And that's why at the Asian Pacific Festival that's happening in June 9 to 11, we want to just want to share our culture, but it's more like an invitation. Let's say, how would you say, let's be friends in Spanish?
Seamos amigos.
Seamos amigos. So like,
Yeah.
we just want to be friends with everybody. And the invitation is like, hey, you don't have to be Asian Pacific to come to the festival. This is a way for you to come and meet your friends.
Yeah. And I think it's important that we also learn about other cultures and know kind of like you said, there's some commonalities. I think there's a lot, especially if we're migrating to this country and we're just figuring out how to even make a life here. I think we all kind of go through certain struggles, different ways, but feeling the same way. So I think that's super important that you mentioned that. I think it's good that you mentioned that. And I did mention in the beginning that you are the founder of the Festival of the Grand Rapids Asian and Pacific. So how did that kind of start? I believe it was in 2017, but what kind of led you to make that festival?
So in 2016, my wife and I, we attended another festival. I can't remember which one, but all I could remember is that the two of us were just having a conversation saying like, there is no Asian Pacific representation in Grand Rapids. And we decided instead of like always, just instead of complaining about it, we're like, why don't we just do something and just see what happens? And, like when the time that we were doing that, we wanted to make sure that we do that for our son, who's at that time was 3 years old. So this is really a dedication to him and just see like, hey, we just want you to feel like, hey, you belong to this whole beautiful community. And the best way to show you the community is for us to highlight it and to share it with everyone. So in 2016, we started that, but the first Asian Pacific Festival really started in 2017 at Rosa Park Circle.
Okay. How has your son kind of he sees the behind the scenes and then how it takes place. So how has he came up to you and kind of told you how he feels about it or his feedback or anything like that? How has
so funny because he doesn't know any better, right? This is what he knows ever since he was like 3. There's always an Asian festival that he's always like helping out, volunteering. He doesn't even know why.
Yeah.
But then recently, I guess he was Googling our last name.
Okay.
And he's like, "Hey, Dad, I didn't realize that we were on a lot of different like websites talking about the Asian community." And I'm like, I said, like, we were doing this for you. We want you to experience that you are a big part of the biggest community, most welcoming community in West Michigan. And for him, that was a surprise. He didn't knew that because he just knew that this is something he does every year.
Yeah.
It's funny, right?
Yeah. How old is your son now?
He's 9.
9. Okay. So you're seeing how he feels, and that's like a close relationship, obviously, your son. But you're also probably most likely making other people feel that way, welcoming and feeling that they are a part of this community and overall just welcoming. So I think that's great.
We do get messages to our website or to our Facebook page, and they would talk about how much they appreciate that there's a celebration. Adoptees, like they will, the parents of the adoptees will mention like, hey, we're so thankful that we could actually bring our daughter or our son to a culture of celebration of Asian Pacific heritage. And for me, that's great. Like we're trying to build like bridges with relationship with people. What's the best way to make that happen? It's just we invite people in. It's going to be a two-way communication, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited about the bridging the gap between like, hey, can we be friends? We can be friends.
Yeah. And I have seen you around being involved, and I consider you a community leader, especially for your community, but for other people. So I think that creating this festival is something amazing, and it's just you're helping your community kind of feel more welcomed, and I think that's something that is needed for everybody. So
Edith, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure that there's a space for everyone to thrive, but we can only thrive if we actually we rise up together. And we can only rise up together if we actually form those relationships. But we can't form those relationships unless we open ourselves up, right? That way people could ask us, why do you believe that way? Or I could ask you, why do you believe that way? Even though it's the total opposite from my beliefs. It could be like, hey, this is the time for us to I want to see an understanding from one another. this is our time, right?
Yeah.
I feel like all the festivals could be like that. It could be like a time for opening, you know. I always go to the Hispanic festival because I love it. I always go to the Mexican festival as well. Be nice for us to be able to say like, hey, we're gonna go there because our friends are there, right? And it's just a great opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, and learning about different cultures,
Yes.
the food, the music, the performances. I think
It
all
all
of that
adds
plays.
up, right?
Yeah. Since we're all different, we have different backgrounds. So there's the Hispanic, there's African American, Asian. How do you believe that these different communities can kind of unite and get to learn about each other? What do you think would be the best way, or why do you think it's important?
You know, I believe just the best way is for us to be open with the invite, right? We have to be so intentional with the invite and say like, you know, we invite the Hispanic community to come out to the Asian Pacific Festival because this is an opportunity for us to learn from one another. You will be surprised that our cultures are so, actually, there's so many commonalities in our culture, and you will just be surprised to find that. It's like, it's so unique that you're like, wait, that food that I call this, you call it this way. Maybe you just cook it differently. But it's just like, wow, we have so much more in common. And so I believe the best way to extend that is to really be intentional about the invitation. And that's why I'm here today. Love for El Vocero to help us spread the news that we're here to invite the Hispanic community to just come out and support us. We'd love to be friends with everybody.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. We're here to kind of educate our community and unite them in some sort of way. So we do appreciate you being here, as I mentioned in the beginning, and we are very appreciative of being able to learn more about your culture and, of course, the festival. So getting into the festival, what can we kind of expect for this year? What's something different maybe that's happening?
So this year we're expanding our food vendors to 19 food vendors.
Okay.
So when we say Asian Pacific community, we have so many diversity in the food selection alone. So we ask each vendor to not cook the same thing. So you will have an experience, and we even challenge some of them to like, you know, maybe just share something that you would not normally sell at your restaurant, or this is something that, or sell something you would cook for your family.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what the vendors will come up with. I've already started to see some of the menus coming in, and I'm very excited to try them all. And then we have all the diverse vendors that are coming up, and then we have all the entertainment, you know, from the lion dances, the dragon dances, but we also have the contemporary musicians. We got rock bands from Canada to come out and sing in Hmong music, and I'm just so excited to be able to immerse myself in so many different cultures in like one weekend. From 9th to the 11th.
Yeah, and it's taking place on June 9th through the 11th at Calder Plaza.
At Calder Plaza.
Okay.
We also have Sunday. We're dedicating that for families. Okay. I know a lot of cultures believe that family is important, right? So we're dedicating June 11th as Ohana Day. Ohana is family in Hawaiian. So we're just calling that Sunday Ohana Day.
Okay.
And we want everyone to come out. We're still planning on it, but I think we're going to have some scavenger hunts for the kids.
Okay.
So we could all have some things to do with the little ones because we love the kiddies, right?
Yeah. That's going to be super exciting, and I can't wait to go. The food part, of course, sounds amazing. So
I can't wait to see you there. I just want to show you around. I'm like, let's go check this out.
Try everybody's foods. Yeah. Are you guys still looking for volunteers or any sponsors or anything like that? What would be the best way to contact you?
Always the best. I mean, we're always looking for sponsors, of course, because we could always use extra funding for some of our programs, because the whole festival is a fundraiser for our foundation.
Yeah.
And the foundation is, right now is currently focusing on the small businesses.
Okay.
And also we also have what we call the GRAF, Women's Entrepreneurial Fund. And this year, a couple of our businesses that we're helping out, there's actually two young female who's starting a hula school.
Oh, okay.
And so we're helping them. So we're having them perform at the festival, but also we are helping them fundraise for their school. So it's like it's a circle, right? You're like trying to help the circle, trying to help these two young women start up something that they are passionate about.
Yeah.
But what's the best way for the community to come in together and to say like, hey, we're gonna be supporting you, help you fundraise so you can keep going.
Yeah. You mentioned the foundation. I just wanted to know what are some of like the resources that maybe some people can take advantage of, or what kind of help can they seek from the foundation?
So right now, the foundation doesn't have a ton of money, right? Right now, we're just still in that building phase. We started from like, hey, the festival is the visibility factor. We want to be visible in the community, and then the next piece of our organization is like, how do we expand and help the small businesses? So if there are some small businesses that are looking for additional help with, let's say, marketing, even with funding. I mean, we have limited funding, but if it's like, hey, can you just maybe help us figure out like how can we pay for a business license or something something that we can do. We would love to see if we can support. So that would be at our website, which is graph.org, grapf.org. So GRAP as in Paul, F as in Frank.org.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you so much for being here. I'm not sure if there's something else that you want to add or let our community know about you or the foundation or the festival.
Well, can we say this together?
Yes. Yes, it's Seamos Amigos.
Seamos Amigos.
Yes.
I apologize. So let's say it together.
Yeah.
Edith? 1, 2, 3.
Seamos Amigos. Yeah. Yeah, so yes, the festival will take place on June 9th through 11th at Calder Plaza. That's 300 Monroe Avenue. It's right at the center of Grand Rapids, so maybe one of the best places to get together, learn about the culture, and get to know about the Asian American and Pacific Islander heritage. This is the month, so I encourage everybody to just take a little bit of their time during their day or their week or their weekend and just read a little bit about their backgrounds, their cultures, and just become more informed within this heritage. To contact the Asian Pacific Foundation, you can visit them on Facebook, which is just by searching Grand Rapids Asian Pacific Foundation, and you can visit their website, www.grapf.org. And that's pretty much it. So for more interviews in English and Spanish, you can visit elvocerous.com. You can visit our YouTube page, El Vocero Hispano TV, and our Facebook